Welcome to Wednesday's Words of Wisdom from the farm. And as you can see, we're back into a sap run. Boiling it. It's like 35 parts of hard maple to get down to 1 part of syrup. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. There's so many stories that we've had back in the bush. So many good times. Just recently I did a funeral, and they told me a story about 83 years ago when he was just a baby in his crib, and the family talked about how the doctor sent him home and said to his mom, you know, your baby has this tumor on his head. It's eating away at his brain. Your baby's not going to make it. And she brought home her little baby boy, put him in the crib, and she said, God, take him or heal him. And the next morning she got up and the sun was shining through the window, and she looked in the crib and she saw him still breathing. So she walked down to the church down the road, and it just so happened to be New Life Assembly on Eureka Street. The building's still there, but that was the old church. And 83 years ago, and asked those women if they would come and pray for him. The ladies of the church came and they laid their hands on that little baby boy in that crib, and the tumor on his head dried up and fell off. I'm not making this up. This is really what happened. And it's incredible because he didn't live a life for God. He actually, like this sap, there was some impurities. There was some stuff in it that shouldn't have been. You know, I'm coughing because of the smoke, but we're constantly, look at that, dipping out, trying to get it pure so we can have the finished product, which is like this jar. Looks so good, but there's a lot of purification, a lot of filtering. I want to read for you what it says in 1 John. You know, 1 John 1:9 says, if we confess our sins, he is faithful and just and will forgive us our sins and purify us from all unrighteousness. Well, that little baby boy grew up and he needed some filtering, but it didn't look like it was going to happen. But they told me that his life changed. See, on in his life, his brother, there was a house fire in Oil Springs, and the house with his brother and his brother's family burnt up, and the whole family was lost. It was a tragedy. I remember when it happened. It really affected our community. You know, New Life Assembly put on the funeral service for them, and this fella, now a grown man, was so moved by the service, he wanted to go and thank that pastor for doing his brother and his brother's family's funeral. He went that next Sunday, and the pastor was on holidays, and so he went the next Sunday, and the pastor was still gone on holidays. Well, then the pastor came back, and he accepted Jesus. He accepted that righteousness in his life, and he lived a life for Jesus. Lived a great life. In fact, at his funeral, his family talked all about his relationship. He was a true life, Saul to Paul. He changed his life completely. And his grandkids read poems that he wrote about Jesus. It was a real relationship, and it was incredible. And just like this sap, that sometimes has some imperfections. You know what? We're never going to be perfect. But just like that sap, we can confess our sins, and he is faithful and just to forgive us and make us righteous before him. And that's been Wednesday's Words of Wisdom from the farm. Take care. God bless.